Right, it's been a while since my last video. Now we have the elections happening. I think it's Tuesday. We get the results. It could get dramatic. It could take until Wednesday, Thursday. Who knows? I hope it doesn't get too controversial. I hope Trump wins, but you never know. If you're looking at the what is that poly market, there's a bit of hedging going on, but it's getting tighter over the weekend. I don't know how the hell Harris can have any chance. It's obviously there'll be some probably a bit of fraud here and there. But if we're looking at the markets, we've got the DXY and the yields that continue to be strong. Look at Friday here, close a high of day. If we zoom out, this is a pretty important period. Look, that's quite a, I'm not going to say long term, but yeah, long term resistance that's being knocked on, right? It's knocking on the door here. The horizontal is the real test. If we start to see DXY close above, let's say 104.6 close on a daily, you could start moving up even more. And that would probably coincide with, it still hasn't taken it out, resistance, but if we're looking at the yields, it's coinciding also with yields. Look at the yields. Look at the 30. That's indicating we want more. And to be honest, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? It does make sense that yields go up regardless of who wins, I would say. I don't think this is stating a particular candidate wins. It just means bonds, the value of bonds are going to continue dropping, yields keep going up, and this is regardless of the short-term, interest decisions of the Fed. Like the Fed is basically targeting short-term, 2 years, let's say, but long-term, the yields are just going to go up because the value is worse and worse. Inflation will remain. Look at the 10-year, my goodness. Even the 2 year, basically, yields just want to keep going up because the market is figuring it out that yields need to go higher. Inflation is going to be worse, and you need a higher interest for the bonds that will be worse, worth less and less. So I think this goes up regardless of who wins, but that is helping the dollar go up. And I don't know how much it impacts gold. It wasn't impacting gold for the last couple of weeks, I would say, but now it's starting to impact gold. Let's look at gold and silver straight away. So we see the dollar and yields are strong and continue going higher. Yields at least indicate a continuation, whereas gold, and this is a bit of election interference here. I'm going to say the whole of last week was a bit of an interference with the election. Closed at low of day on Friday. Let's look at the weekly. I rarely do that. That's, quite a reversal weekly candle. And I think next week we could drop, definitely could drop. Obviously, anything could happen, but it looks like Monday we dropped to here, right? 2720-ish. Got that little bit of support. If we flush, and I think there could be a flush regardless of who wins, because let's be honest, gold should keep going up. It's just a war premium that could be priced out. I mean, if Trump comes in, which is probably the most important reason to want Trump in, you're going to have peace. You should have peace with Ukraine and the Middle East, Israel. Don't think it's going to happen that fast, but at least there'll be a path towards peace. Whereas Harris just wants war until everyone dies, probably. So you could get gold drop if Trump wins. You should. You could have one of these overnight, or I don't know, when a certain state is won, it's like that's it. It's the odds completely favor that person, Trump in this case, and you could just get a flash crash in gold. I don't think you'd get that if Harris wins. You may even get a flash move up. But if Trump is going to win, I do expect a bit of a drop based on the war. The wars that will end, and that could take it down, I don't know, 50, $100, but pretty much up until this area here. I've already indicated, especially this zone. This should be real strong. This doesn't count anymore. We've lost the ascending. If that really starts to flush, then the next line of support obviously is 2600. And the uptrend is not interrupted. The short-term uptrend is, but I mean, there's so many supporting trend lines. This one alone, I don't think will ever get hit ever. And even if it is, you've got more. You've got this long-term one here. That's never going to get hit. So I think this is possible. 26, just under 2700, right? 2680s, 2670s, this zone where this yellow circle is. And if it really gets ridiculous, like lots of stops and all this stuff, the stops get triggered, you could see even 2600. And how much of a drop is that in gold? Yeah, 4 5%. That's not, you could do that in 2 days, 2 bad days, or an average bad week. So that's looking at the Friday candle in particular. Now you could have a reversal, let's say Harris wins, or maybe it doesn't matter who wins, it goes back up anyway. You could have a bit of a bounce from this 27, 20-ish zone. There is something there, there is. I don't think it's much support, but there is something. If it wants to go up, it might have to touch this first and then can't go up, you know, like this, and then whatever, and then like that, and then continuation because the trend is your friend. So that's what I'm looking at in gold. Obviously that's resistance. So you got this. This is now irrelevant. We can get rid of that. So there's your resistance. There's your first level of support, extremely weak, give or take a few bucks. There's your first decent level of support. It is strong, but we could flush right through it depending on stop losses and the drama involved. I mean, if there's election fraud, I don't know which way it goes. I would first look at the charts and then look at the news that follows it. But you'll see it in the charts first. But here's your next level. I don't think we need to look at a level after that, but this would certainly be strong, like 2500s ascending support between this, between this area, this like little parallel trams area. That would be super strong if we get there. We're not getting there, but at least not next week. That's gold. Now, silver, as usual, loses way more than gold on the way down. Actually, let's look at the other silver. It's more history to it. So silver, I think it lost a lot more of the percentage. Yeah, here we go. So we did find our way into this zone. Remember this 3250, for me it was 3250 to 33. That was the level to take out. We ventured there on, well, last week. Let's drop it a bit, 3250. Now, where's your next level? If gold is dropping, as I showed, it could, then yeah, there's your first level, right? Basically, where these two lines coincide, the horizontal and the ascending. So that definitely makes sense. If you have gold, yeah, that would really make sense. If you have gold going for 2600, a big drop, 5, 6, yeah, that would take care of that. You know what I mean? If we're having a big move down, silver will go down to 30, basically $30. It's not just one, two, three. It's not just the ascending and the horizontal. It's also the fact that we are at a massive psychological number. That's supposed to be an arrow, $30. So absolutely, for sure, $30 is a level of support. If that gets lost, you know what? That won't get lost. You could dip below it for half a day, but you'll close above 30 probably, or the next day you're back within this ascending. So for me, I'm not going to put another level. Well, the next level will probably be here, but that would actually destroy the trend a little bit. That would take a few weeks to recover. But I think gold would do the recovery. For me, the equivalent of going all the way back down to 30 in silver is the same as going to there, actually. Like a 7% drop in silver requires more than a 2% drop in gold. It requires, yeah, 3, 4% in gold. Plus, silver's already done a lot more downside movement than gold. So I think that kind of takes care of next week's downside. The upside, by the way, in silver, interesting, haven't considered that. Well, the upside would be the move back up to the old highs. First of all, the usual descending. So you probably get a bit of resistance here. Also takes care of like this zone. So this kind of area, blah, blah, blah. Where's that? That's just below 34. And then it's going to be the old high. Those are the two areas I'm looking at for the move up. But I don't think I'd be selling into it. Let's look at the miners. I don't know why I start with GDXJ, but that's not a good one, is it? Close at low of day, at low of week. Well, the gap fill is almost inevitable. It should have done it actually on Friday. It'll probably happen even if you got good news on Monday. I just feel like you might as well. It's not much to ask for, just to close that, get it over and done with. And then the move up, yeah, I would consider this 52 a bit of a level. And then I don't even think I'd do it descending. I would just do horizontal levels for this one. 1, 2, 3. There you go. At each of those levels is resistance. Got the resistance out the way. But on the way down, I'm just thinking, what if we have this big move down in gold and silver? Then, well, this is done. We can remove this. That's been tested. Well, then you've got this level. which is 47 pretty much. And you know what? If you're going to test that, you might as well test the ascending, which is clear. Mm, If it happens in one day, yeah, there, but you could just go below. I'm just going to color the whole area. Done. That's your level of support. Now, there is a gap to fill. I'll extend this in case we do it. This is a relevant, well, actually, to extra emphasize the support level. Let's see how much of a drop it would be. Remember, you've still got 7% in silver. Yeah, I think that kind of equates to that. 10% drop in GDXJ, 7% drop in silver. Yeah, we've seen the metals drop more or roughly the same as the actual mining ETF. And I think that's what would happen if we had a big drop because the miners are not dropping too much compared to like silver in particular. I feel, I see silver down 2%. I see SILJ or a particular silver stock also down 2.5. So actually, I think that's pretty accurate. That will take care of the worst case scenario for next week at least. If it gets even worse, I've got so many levels. These are old lines I've drawn. I don't need to do much, just extend them. I may have to readjust one or two, but that's it really. The rest are actually still correct. But I don't think we have to go lower than 46 on GDXJ. SILJ, wow, look at that. That's the close at low of week. Yeah, so your next level of support is there, but I feel like that's too close for a big move down in gold and silver. 7%. If it goes lower, then you got the ascent. Yeah, okay. Silver juniors. Maybe that can go all the way down to there. Let's clean this up. One, two, three. Those are the two levels. I don't see any other level, actually. Maybe something there. If there's a really light drop, could get something like this. Otherwise, down here and after this, the ascending, very, very strong. Pivot one, pivot two, pivot three, and then this would be pivot four, just before gap fill, very strong. So one, two, three on the way down. This is no longer relevant. On the way up, well, I've got the other, wow, it's pretty simple stuff. That'll probably be a level two. There's some of it there, gap fill, there's some of it down. There you go, all the horizontals. I won't bother filling them all in. That's what I'm looking at on the way down, on the way up. Now, finally, GDX. Remember, Newmont, not the best time to have bad earnings, but what an exaggeration. I feel Newmont went down. We'll take a look at Newmont in particular, but that definitely hurt the whole sector and even other sectors. Close at low of absolute low of day, low of week. So that's horrible. That suggests more downside immediately, almost no matter what. Um, well, this is the problem. There's only one level of support. I mean, if we have immediate reversal, who knows? I'll say one there. And I'll say two. Obviously, here the ascending. Three will be the gap fill, since this, actually, no. Pre-gap fill, post-gap fill, and then the next level, who knows? If you've got SILJ doing a minus 13%, this is the same thing. This is the same thing. Delete this. There you go. And let's look at how much downside it would require to hit all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, if you've got gold going down 4% or something, 10%, that's a bit too much. Maybe the gap fill. Right, looking at Newmont. So, I mean, that's come down a lot since its poor earnings. And I think it was overdone. I forgot where I bought it. I bought it quite early now that I look at it. But I haven't really spoken about what I've done during this week, but I did add Newmont 2 or 3 times, twice on Friday. And I'm pretty sure it's never lows. I mean, it's basically its support. You can see 45-ish, give or take 1%. I mean, you can see that's support, right? Pretty clear for me. It was resistance over here. Over here, it was already support there. It's a big round number, 45, and it's already come down a lot. I'm absolutely convinced that it will be higher than here quite soon. That'll be your resistance, by the way, 49. And even if we come down, like I said, with gold and the miners, Newmont will outperform for sure its peers on the way down and on the way up, I reckon. So support, I've got, yeah, 45-ish. Then I've got here because, like I've said, if we start to accelerate downside across the board, I don't expect Newmont to go down much more than it already has. So I've got this level here. You can see it was resistance over here. Over here also resistance support. So I'm looking for anything just below here in case we have to go lower. Then I don't see much. Maybe it's something here at 42 point something, but then I got the low down here. 41. Can you imagine it moving down here? That must be an absolute obliteration. 8% Newmont, it would take like 2 or 3 levels lower in the GDX for that. I can see really 45 holding, what I mean 44.5 by 45. If we go lower, then I really see 43.5. Otherwise, I don't see it going lower than that. What a buy. So much so that I've already bought resistance on the way up. I mean, you could say maybe something here, but I would look for a much bigger move. Yeah, then the next one is really here. That's the low after the news, the day of the news. So 49 is clear resistance on the way up. So I'm just going to mark this as something, but it's very little. Really, this is your first resistance. And after that, then, well, it's not going to be this. Then we go obviously up here. That's quite a move higher. This would be like gold new all-time highs. All the other miners back at their old highs. I don't see that happening. Let me delete that. No point in going higher than that. That would be a really big move to go back up to 49, but that's doable in 2 or 3 very good days. Right, Barrick Gold. So this one I've also marked already. Close at low of day, like the whole sector. I also see as nearby support as being a support level. So 19, that's doable. That's a very quick level of support. After that, not really much till down here. Now, I do see something else, maybe this. Again, there's another one just nearby. It could be a similar pattern for quite a few of the miners where there's one level of support, but immediately lower, there's another one. So actually this, I feel like just, it's 2 different lines, just moving it there. I'd say between 18.7 and 19, thereabouts, you know what I mean? Give or take 20 cents. So that's my level of support. After that, honestly, nothing until here. So that's a big move down. And we've already seen that gold can go all the way down. Was it 1600? That's probably what that will be. So I think that takes care of Barrick Gold. Obviously, after that, there's the gap fill. I don't see Barrick Gold going that much lower on the way up. This one's hard to call. Is it a 19.3? Is it 19.5? I'll just go with 19.5 because if we're going to rally, we're probably going to rally a bit more than a couple of cents. So that's your first level of resistance. After that, I think it would be a bit higher. There's something going on. It's post-election, so 20.3, and then obviously the old high. So that's Barrick Gold. Agnico Eagle, very strong. That had good earnings. That's held off really well, and that's a legitimate reason to hold up quite well. I'm just wondering, ascending, is there something? Yeah, there is something. Okay, so first level of support is just below where we are. So 85. If it keeps going lower, then we've got here 82. If it goes lower than that, well, then you've got ascending support. Depends how long it takes, but I'm going to call it, you know what, I'm going to call it 80. Such a big number. It'll probably be just a bit above 80. But you see what I mean? Those 3 levels, one is pretty much where we are. After that, then you've got this level here. And actually, that's quite a strong level because we've hit it 2, 3 times. It was also resistance here. I could even extend it just to clarify where it came from initially. So this little 76, 77 almost, just below 77. There's a bit of a level there. I don't think is going much lower because it's just had good news. And on the way up, there's only one level, and that's the all-time high, 89, where I trimmed. I did my last trim, and that was quite an obvious one because it was the old high. So Agnico is actually quite easy to call. I don't think it's going that low. Pan American Silver, it's on a level now, like most of them. I would say most of them. Close at low of day, like everything else on Friday. Now, if we go lower, we've got the next level I got here, below 22, thereabouts. Yeah, just below 22. I think that makes sense. And then after that, you got this level here that's just above 20. I don't actually see 20 as a level. That's interesting. But this little level here, this 20.5-ish, that'll be your ascending also. So that'll be very strong. And I don't think it could. I don't think we're going lower than that. That's 10%, you know. It could be done in 2 bad days. But anyway, you can tell if you ever go back to my videos, just look at where the next levels. I don't need to color every single white line with a yellow scribble. But there you go, gap fill, etc., etc. Now on the way up, the old resistance. This is you got to give me some rope here. Like, is it this? Is it the end of the gap at 24? Should we just call it 24? It's a big round number, but over here we went higher. And actually, last time we were flirting with the flush, it was also 24.3. So I'm going to call it 24.2, even though it's not actually that. Just give or take like 10 or 20 cents. 24 really is the level. And after that, yeah, you could be cute and say 25.2 or something, but I'm going to say the all-time high because if we're going up here, we're probably screaming up in silver. So just two levels of resistance on the way up, 24 and 26. Forget 25. Next is Wheaton. We're on a level like so many of them. That level is 65. Close at low of day, not low of week, but low of day. Still pretty bad close. If we go lower, it's immediate strong support. Not immediate, but it's, I don't know how much percentage move is that away. 5%. For Wheaton, that's quite a lot, but it's strong support. Not so much here. It's a little bit, a little resistance there, but it's the ascending. It's very, very credible. One, two, three hits, really quite precise. So I believe the fourth one will be also prominent. And for Wheaton, it's quite strong. So I think 62 will be quite strong support. If we lose it, there's another strong support, 58 to 59, just below 59. You can see why. These are strong levels. These two, there's only two levels, but they're very strong. I don't even see us going lower. And actually, how much of a percentage move is it? 10% Wheaton. It's almost like requires a trend in thesis for that to happen. And the level of resistance is only one. It's between 68 and 68.5. So really three levels to look at, one on the way up, two on the way down. Next is Franco Nevada. So this one held up a bit better than the others. It is a royalty, but still, it finally made a move and actually now it's holding the resistance. So resistance is support. By that I mean 130. Now, right now we're at 132-ish, just below, which is a bit of you can see, right? It was the absolute high of resistance. So it can go all the way down to 130, which is also a level of support. So we're in a zone of support, 130 to 132. If we lose that, I would say down here, 125-ish. That's possible. It'd be a bit annoying to be down there, but I would understand if the whole sector comes down. Then all the way down to 119. That should be very strong support because that's a long way down. And I think we're done with the move down. We've actually finally pierced the move up. I feel like Franco Nevada has turned a page. If the absolute sector gets just drowned, then we would have to look at this level. I don't see us ever going lower than 114. So those are your levels on the way down. On the way up, it's the old high. Obviously, quite a bit of resistance here. Let's call it 137. And then you got your 140 and etc. The other levels I've been marking in for a long time. Metalla. Metalla is interesting. Um, so Metalla is almost at a very strong level. I'm going to call that 340. I don't care about the ascending. I think it's so tight that you can't expect it to hold the ascending for too long. But I think you can't flush to the next level just because you've lost it. It's just a steep ascent and it's finally made a a pronounced breakout. So you can't really just flush it and say, oh, it's resistance now. So I think 3.4 is a level. 3.5, yeah, 3.4 is a level. Yeah, 3.4 is a level. Lower than that, 3.2, I'm going to say, just below 3.2. I do see something there now that I look at it. Just maybe. Yeah, just before 3. I mean, it looks quite close, but it's a decent level lower percentage wise. I don't see us going below 3 because that's over 13%. Yeah, and I think we've turned the page. So those are the only levels I'm going to highlight. 3.4, 3.2, 3 point, just 3. I'll say 3. On the way up, No. If we're moving up, we're going to move up strong. I've seen Metallo do it more than 5%. That's just on the first day of a reversal. Continuation will take us to 3.9. So for me, your first real resistance is going to be 3.9. After that, the old high of 405 or something. That's what I would mark. I wouldn't be looking for a 5% bounce, not with what's going on here. And after four, bam, you can start moving to 440 and big moves, big moves. Remember where we are. Okay, I need to reset that. That's it's not that bad. All right, now we look at the silver stocks. So First Majestic. Yes, remember resistance 685-ish. Could go down to 6.8. That's your that's your support, obviously. Give or take 5 cents. After that, yes, it will be the low of this area, roughly, coincides quite well. So I'm going to call it 6.4 because it might take 1 or 2 days. And then after that, it's going to be the low from this area. We'll call that 6. So we've got 6.8, 6.35, and 6, give or take 5-10 cents max. That's pretty clear. We're not going lower. This is buyback territory. The retest will never happen. If it does, it's below 4. That means it's not a real retest. So those are the 3 levels. That's the only stuff you need to look at. We could reverse before we get to 6.85, by the way, but we did close at low of day, and I see a bit of potential for a further drop because nothing is in by Monday. So you do have an extra day of shenanigans before we got real election movement. On the way up, we have resistance and support tested 7.5, right? 7.55 really, but here, and then you got the old high here, and then we got the new high over here. Very clear. In fact, I didn't need to do that. They were already correct over here. Let me just move them in a better position. Pretty clear. Next one is Fortuna. The ascending looks like it may come into play. That'll be about there. Let's call it 4.6, probably just a bit above 4.6. Got sort of the low of these candles plus the ascending. Then the next, and then sorry, after that 4.6, yeah, you've got 4.15, just below 4.2. And then you've got the old low down here at 3.9-ish. Okay, I think those take care of the support zones on the way down. Now on the way up, is resistance support? You know what? I would actually disagree with that. I would say it's there. And then the old high up here. There you go. So on the way up, I would say it's 5.3. So set at 5.28 if you want to, and then 5.5, therefore 5.49. Then you've got your gap fill, etc., etc. My prior levels are correct in my opinion. That's Fortuna. And then my favorite, CDE. Oof, I think I bought CDE now that I'm looking at that chart. So you got 6.10, let's say. We're on a level pretty much. What's the difference between, where we are now, 6.15 and 6.04? Nothing. There's no difference. So we're at a level. Next level is going to be the gap fill. It's also ascending support. This should hold. That's 5.8-ish. After that, we've got another move lower at 5.24. That's quite a drop. That would happen if we got that big percent move down in silver. Yeah, I can see CD going down 15 annoying percentage points if you got 6-7% move down in silver, all the way back down to $30. I can see it happening. Would the ascending be ruined? Yeah, but then it would just be slowly defeated on the way back up, extra resistance, but CDE can do it. Ultimately, if you've got silver going up, CDE will go up. I don't think we're going to go lower. Obviously, the next one is here. Now, on the resistance, this is hard. You would say it should be 6.8. It was for a long time. I'm not sure if it would exactly be 6.8 or would it be 7, actually. I'm gonna go for 7. Sorry. $7. And then after that, the old high of actually I'd be selling a bit earlier. If you wanted to sell the top instead of 7.7, I'd be selling 7.5. Just because it didn't get there last time, it didn't get all the way up there. So expect stronger resistance a little earlier. So I would do this, and I'd let it fly. If we're taking out these highs, silver's probably breaching and running. So that's all I'll put for CDE. Next one is Heckler. Now, Heckler has already tested support 6.3, very clear. After that, yes, do I agree with that? Oh, it is a big round number 6. Yes, there are a few miners that have sort of immediate support. So in case they all work together to make the index hold, then I think Heckler would hold around here. After that, it must be making a bigger move lower. So yeah, it would be here. Okay, I'm going to leave that as it is. Of course, I could be wrong. We're not going all the way down there. I don't care what happens. On the way up, well, it would be ascending resistance, which coincides with all these bars, which is also a round number, $7, and then the old high. I'll leave the ascending in. Actually, I won't. The horizontal does it, takes care of it anyway. There you go. That's Heckler. Next is EXK. Hmm. Yes, this is a gap that's just been filled. That was pretty clear. This one, anymore. I would move this to here, 5.2. Some more modern resistance and support, actually. In this case, resistance down here, 4.6. Is it really going to do that? It could be a level. This is a very, very weak one. I feel like deleting it. But in case there's a very light move down, as we've seen with several, maybe it's worth leaving it in. Otherwise, this one for sure. And then this would be ascending at that point. And then this one, you know what? We're not going down there. I'll leave it in, but we're not going down there. This one I can forget. It's too old. Okay, there you go. I'll just pencil this one in. This is going to be light. And actually down there, I don't think we're going on the way up. Yeah, there's your first resistance, 5.2. I think it was resistance, it was support, it was support, it was resistance. It's also about what, 4%, maybe 5 on the way up. Oh, it's quite a lot. Okay. 5.2 and then the old high. This up here, it's probably there for a reason. Also a big round number. So I'll say this and this. That's what I've got for EXK. Next one, Mag Silver. We've got this ascending support. That's quite steep. I don't think it'll count. I wouldn't be buying there. Or if I... this is tough. 15.5. This one's quite tough. Is this really resistance? 15.5 is more of a level than 15, funnily enough. What about this? Oh, this one's quite hard to call. I think I'd make it quite a rough one. Well, I'm not in a hurry to buy back MAG. I'm looking at others. I've got quite a lot in MAG already, and it's held up quite well. I'm just going to put all of this in here. So this is kind of this level here. This ascending takes care of this part here. So 16.3 takes care of 16. I almost feel like doing a big zone of support. Then you got that, then you got that. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. So you got 16, let's say 0.15 to take care of both levels. Then here 15.5, which is not that strong either. And then you got down here 14, which is strong, but it's quite far away. This is obsolete. Then your resistance, really, there's only one, and that's the old high at 18. And if you take out 18, I don't think this counts. 18.5. So that's the only level I'll have as resistance. Next is Aris Mining. I think you've got one level of support. That's all the way down here, 4.2. Resistance. I'm going to move this down. The old test of 4.9. If you take that out, you can test the old high of 5 point, whatever that is, 5.2. No point in testing any of this stuff, I think. No, okay, we'll leave it like that. Keep it simple. 4.9, 5.2, and on the way down, 4.2. And yes, it's possible if we go lower, 3.8. That would be quite a move. Oh, look at this. Ascending. Hasn't been called upon for a long time, but we could get close to it, but probably never test it. There you go. That's what I've got. Next one, I am gold. So this level here has been breached. That's going to be, I think that is resistance on the way up. It was resistance here. It was a bit of support. Yes, it is. Okay, so that's resistance. Next level of resistance, I don't want to mark each one, but you can't expect it to go all the way back up in one go. Honestly, 5.8 is a small level. I'll try and make a small line to indicate that. 6, I don't really see it. No, I'd leave it out actually. So I would just say this is a level. Let's make it a bit smaller. So you got this level here. You got the old high, definitely. I'll leave that in as a big one. And you got this, yes. Now, support. Support is 5. It's quite a way down, but support is 5. And then after that, that's such a way down. I actually think you'd get support before that. I wouldn't be too greedy because this has gone up. Remember over here, massive news. Actually, forgot what the news is, but massive news, very strong consolidation, higher highs, higher lows. Okay, here we came down and then bam. Yeah, so I'd mark all of these. We're not going lower than that. I don't think we'll ever take out 4.4, actually, at least this week. So those are your levels on the way down. In order, it will be 5, 4.64, 4.44. On the way up, it'll be 5.6, 5.8, and then honestly, 6.4. The old highs. I don't see 6 as a level, interestingly enough. Next one is B2 gold. I feel like taking out this descending, but I'll leave it in just for historical context. This level, we've tested it enough, right? So I'll just delete it. The next level of support is 3. I don't think we'll get there because it's such a strong break, not such a strong breakout, but an important breakout that's been done. It's come down because, the sector's come down, but I think it hasn't actually really closed below this breakout level. I think it's just been forced to do it, but in reality, it hasn't, if you know what I mean. So for me, level of support, I'm going to do 3. After that, 2.9, I think there'll be very strong support. So for it to move down here, it's because the sector's just forcing this move and it'll be reversed on any pump. Then 2.8, the gap fill there. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that. It's not going down there. On the way up, there's only one level of resistance. That is your 3.5 old high. And then, yeah, then the old levels count, 3.7-ish, 3.8, etc., everything you see. B2 gold is pretty strong. And again, this descending breakout has taken place. I don't think it's nullified just because the sector's forcing it down because of the election move this week in the metals. Next is Equinox. Straight away, I can see an extra resistance maybe to pay attention to. It's not too steep, so it might count. This is too close and not obvious. Okay, so delete. For me, I'll just put this resistance to descending. If we move up, it's going to be this sort of 5.85. After that, yeah, okay. I didn't realize it was a big round number. 6 could be just a bit higher than 6. it might actually be 610. Let's just do that. So 5.85, then 6, then the old high of 6.5, clear, relatively clear. On the way down, it's going to be this immediate support nearby, 5.3. You could even say 5.2. But you might as well just say 5. Well, put it this way, if you want to buy before 5, just split it up between 5.3 and 5.2. I'm going to draw a little circle. Well, not really a circle, just two little marks, right? Then you've got 5, a sort of clearer level of support and a big round number. And then the ascending, which is probably the strongest of them all. Look at this. We're going to have a bit of a decision soon. Little wedge. All right. SSRM. It still hasn't really started to run here, but it has made serious breakouts here. For me, after taking out 6 is a big move. But now it's less obvious. This no longer applies. This no longer applies. The only level of support is the ascending. So it depends when it hits it, but let's say around there, 5.8. If we start to move lower, then it's going to be this level here. That's 5.4. If we go lower, it's probably going to be 5, but actually it looks like it could go a little lower. And if there's a dramatic flush, you could even take out 5 and go all the way down to 4.9. I would actually move it up, just call it 4.9. There you are. Those are levels of support. Levels of resistance, there's only one. There's only one. It's the old high of let's call it 6.55 or something. There you go. That's SSRM. Next one, SBSW. I forgot what that was. It might actually end up happening. Levels of support. This one moves a lot in either direction. I'm going to call 3.9 as a level. Yes, you can see it was also before, so that make just below 4 basically. Then after that, I've got this here. I'll just trust that. Where does it come from? Oh, COVID lows. Plus, it's quite a long move from 3.9 all the way down to the absolute lows of 3.2. I don't see that happening, but who knows? There's a flush in the general market. Okay, those are your 3 levels on the way down. It might not even get there. It might hold like 4.3 or something. That's a long way down, actually. How much of a move is that? 50. Yeah, forget it. Yeah, I'm giving it some room. I don't think even if we have a big move down, to get below 4 is asking a lot. So we could just go down to, I might just draw that in. This one is hard to get right, but I'm going to say 4.3-ish, just below 4.3 is a level. It's just too much of a move to say all the way down to 3.9. Even a gap fill here, but okay. So there's something between where it is now and 3.9. Then you got these 2 levels below. On the way up, forget about it. That's nothing, and forget about it. Just one level, the old high. That can be done in one good day or 2 decent days. That's all I'm looking at. 5.3. It's quite a move. And then, of course, the massive old high of 5.8. There you go. Look, today it's a late one, so I'm not going to cover all of them. There are some other ones I promised. I'm sorry. I've been on holidays and I'm actually at my mother's house. Strange state of affairs. So hopefully this will be sufficient, even though it's late Sunday in Europe. Let's see what happens next week. I'm on holiday again, but I'll be doing another video. Actually, I'll definitely be doing another video from holiday because it's just a sauna holiday, so I have a lot of time. But probably a different setup, different recording device, not as good, but who cares about all the special effects? It's just the details, and I think I'll have what I need for that. So let's see what happens. Monday trading will be interesting because there'll be some moves according to election data that's come in, but nothing like Tuesday/Wednesday. Probably Wednesday trading is when you're really trading the result. But who knows? It could take an extra day. Who knows? And there could be contested, or it's going to be crazy. But I think we should take advantage of these moves down, especially in the miners. You know, you've got miners down. Like, what is GDX down? What is GDX down in percentage terms? I should have maybe covered this. It's like double figures from the high, right? Look at that, over 10%, whilst gold is, not really far down from its old high. 2% versus 10%. Come on, and the miners should be catching up anyway. It has a long way to go to catch up to gold's non-stop new all-time highs. So it's an opportunity, and where will we be trading by next earnings, or in half a year, or in 1 year, even after this peace if Trump is in? Probably where we are now or higher. So the earnings should be crazy. I think long term, this is just a gift like it's always been, but especially this recent drop. So let's see what happens. Things can always get cheaper, we know that, but the trend is our friend, and the trend is now up. And we've been used to the trend being down for years, and this is the first time, last 1 or 2 years that it's clearly up, especially this year. So take advantage. All right, let's see what happens. So have a good end of weekend.